Hi guys, and thanks for watching your update on August 4th, 2023. So starting off with our latest sun imagery, we can see that this arc of clouds is moving from the west and is bringing some heavy and widespread rain, especially to the west right now, but it will move eastwards through the night. And if we just zoom in on this line of clouds here, that is a very heavy spell of rain, and that will move in this direction overnight, bringing quite a few places drenching, I should say. And if you play it forward, you can see it's all moving in this northwest to southeast alignment here. So that will come through this sort of region here. So do watch out for that. Radar shows it very nicely in some way. We can only see the front of the fronts, the forward part of the fronts, but the very intense rain is still where to see and can't be seen on radar at the minute. But let's say it's around 1 a.m. or so, it will start to approach the west coast. The wind speeds with this low look very severe tomorrow morning, widely 80 to 90 kilometers per hour gusts there, as you can see quite nicely. In the south, locally higher, so this has been called, it's been named Storm Antoni by the UK Met Office because the greatest impacts there, but still some impacts will be felt along the south coast in particular from winds. So do heed the warning here and make sure you're safe, because I know that this is a bank holiday weekend. Everyone's camping, travelling, especially in this southeastern region here. Wexford, Waterford, Wicklow in particular, I'd say, coastal areas, so tents, caravans, camper vans, make sure they're sheltered, make sure they're secure, because it'll be very windy. Storm Antoni has been named for a reason, to get the message out. And so just do stay safe. Don't really go out, don't go to the beach during the morning hours, that sort of stuff, common sense, yeah. So we have two rainfall warnings for Connacht. We have two yellow warnings for rainfall. One for Connacht, one for Connacht Clouds of Prairie. So spells of heavy rain from Friday evening to Saturday morning. Impacts are spot flooding, poor visibility, and difficult travelling conditions. So for travelling, do watch out for that in this region here. Also through Leinster, Monaghan and Cavan, same thing. For the earlier warning for Connacht Clouds of Prairie, valid from 10 p.m. tonight to 8 a.m. tomorrow. And for the other warning, you've got 11 p.m. today till 10 a.m. tomorrow. So it will move southeastwards here. So it's these areas that are likely to see this line of intense rain that I mentioned earlier. So that is why that warning's been issued, I think, for that line of intense rain that will be coming through. Also, a wind warning for Kerry, Cork, Waterford and Wexford. That is for the south coast as the strongest winds push through. So very strong northwest winds, gusting up to 110 an hour. Possible impacts are falling branches, damage to temporary structures, and difficult travel conditions. So again, tents, shelters, caravans, that sort of stuff. Falling branches, as I said, there. In the summertime, it's easier for trees and branches to fall because they're in full leaf, and the leaves are basically sails for the trees, branches, so they'll move easier and fall easier. Consequently, and also if you're traveling, be aware, coastal areas not good, high side vehicles not great on the coast, and that stuff. Also, a rain warning for also Northern Ireland. Quite interestingly, look at Clare right there. Sorry, Limerick even. Look at Limerick right there. It's so isolated there. It's got a warning all around it. But look at that. Also, Donegal. Look at that. Only 2 counties with no warnings in quite bizarre locations, especially Limerick there. Every county around it has a warning. But look at that. It's isolated. It's got no warning. It's quite strange. Anyway, this is the UKV run for precip and cloud. So we can see tonight's rain with Storm Antoni moving eastwards, and that very heavy pulse of rain over Connacht and off into Leinster as well. So that is a bit hazardous, I think. That'll push through in the morning hours. That'll clear through. The strongest winds will follow behind it. And once it clears away, we will see showers forming and some big downpours likely, especially in the east in the evening. Things throughout Saturday night. Before into Sunday, showers form again with the sunshine. And it goes through heaviest and most frequent over the north and east on Sunday, drier for the west, and we go through to the evening and the die out. Into Monday, we see some rain just brushing the south coast. It's quite heavy in Kerry there, but as it moves eastwards, we're actually fizzling out actually. So by it's by evening, there's rain in the south, but nothing much, just misty gloom. Quite depressing really. Into Tuesday, things brighten up in the south. So I think that would be within quite a warm and humid air mass actually. So temperatures with that could work it up towards like the low 20s. They can get towards the low 20s Celsius actually with that. So very warm, muggy I think, with that sort of conditions. Humid, everything like that. Quite oppressive in the sunshine somewhat. And into Tuesday night, Wednesday, more sunshine again. Although I think that by this stage we could see some coastal fog along the south coast in particular. So warm MS. Also a few showers being formed there in the North Midlands in response to the heat. Also, as I've been saying in recent videos, we're likely to see a warm spell and dry spell next week, especially towards the end of next week. Followed by possible storms from the west, but I think it's now materialising. So looking at the UKV run for temperatures, you can see that say high teens recorded locally on the east coast and inland over Meath, Louth, Down, Armagh as well. Into tonight, lowest temperatures drop away. Coolest over the north and northeast, about 10 or 11 degrees, but further south you've lows of mid teens, and that is as a big warm sector goes through the south overnight, and it's actually on that line of intense rain tomorrow morning that the cold front will be on. So through Leinster and Connacht, especially, and that is where that warning. Will be enforced into tomorrow afternoon. Widely mid-teens, possibly getting towards 18 there on the south coast. Further north, mid-teens, very chilly over Ulster, exposed to northerly flow. Into tomorrow night, lowest temperatures get towards 10 degrees over parts of North Leinster into Ulster. Widely 10 to 12, I think mildest over the west coast. Into Sunday, we see temperatures rising quite nicely into the afternoon. Leinster and East Munster getting towards the high teens. Elsewhere, 17 degrees widely. The coast of Donegal and Mayo and Sligo look very cool, with temperatures down towards the mid-teens only. It looks quite bleak, especially if you're on the west and north coast. But something like Monday morning, quite chilly actually. In the east and north, 9 degrees for a low, so quite chilly and fresh. Further west, 10 to 12 degrees, exposed to that westerly flow, just keeping in the air mixed and that sort of stuff. Going off into Monday, we see where it's sunny over the east and north country, it will be quite warm, high teens. But over the south and southwest, where it's cooler and cloudier, cloudy from that front, dying away, only mid-teens, struggling to get, miles. Into Tuesday morning, lowest temperatures reach the low teens in the north and the mid-teens in the south. Off into Tuesday morning, we can see very warm there in the south and southeast, getting towards the low 20 Celsius. So 23 degrees likely there. And with the humidity, it'll be very, very warm actually with that. Further north, it will be around the mid-teens over Ulster, also on the west coast, high teens very widely. into Wednesday morning. Quite a mild night for the South Country, cooler in the north, and up into Wednesday itself, a very warm day is likely, with temperatures towards the low to mid 20s actually on Wednesday. So it's warming up. We're getting warmer into next week. Over Ulster though, struggling to get into that warmer air mass, so still in the mid-teens. Quite disappointing, I think, over Ulster into next week. You know, that warm air mass will really take its time to push northwards. It's like it's stuck over like North Leinster pretty much. It's not really getting to Ulster, but I promise you that by the end of next week, that warm air mass will reach Ulster, albeit quite temporarily. Now, going to the NAO index, observed and GFS forecast, you can see that we currently have a neutral NAO, bang on neutral, this line here. It will take a plummet to being quite strongly negative tomorrow and Sunday and Monday, before rising in response to the strengthening of the Azores side next week, and neutral into mid-August. So the Azores side will strengthen, and we'll see that on this run here, the lovely GFS run. So we can go through. That's from Antoni, bring a battering, especially to the South Country. If you go into Sunday, a brief ridge sort of tricycle showers, but actually doesn't. Sunday actually looks quite showery, especially over the north and east country. Into Monday, we see a weak front moving through. There's also a strengthening to our south, notice that. And into Tuesday and Wednesday, there's also a sentence over like Europe, well, a ridge does anyway, from the Azores Eye, and we check up that southerly winds. Now, there could be a few storms with that, as that low pressure is quite close to us. So it'll move eastwards into the warm air by Saturday, and we go westerly, and a bit cooler, but quite showery. More low pressure into mid-August. Though there's also all along, actually it is a bit more, it's a bit stronger, isn't it? It's always trying to throw ridges in, like that on August 17th. Try to throw it in, but that low to northwest does throw its cold front in though. And we go off into August 20th, and it says westerly though, but this also is quite chunky. Off into the ECMWF run, you can see that it's looking at this, and that's on Antoni, showery Sunday, dry Monday for the north. You probably see that the average temperatures are like this, right? Warm in the south, cooler in the north. Actually, it's above 10 degrees over Munster, but below 5 in Ulster. That is why there'll be such a big contrast in temperatures next week. The warm mass struggles to push north, but by Wednesday into Thursday it does, and it goes very warm everywhere. So everyone in Ulster has to wait just a bit longer for that air mass to get there. It'll struggle, but it'll get there in the end, I promise you. With the wind from the south. And off into next Friday, a cold front moves eastwards, pushes all the heat away, and probably brings thunderstorms with that. And we're going off into westerly winds into mid-August. So, but there's also it's trying to ridge in, so there'll definitely be drier spells in there. This is the GEM run. You go through, you can see that some actually push through, showery Sunday. On Monday, weak fronts, cooler north, but by midweek into Thursday and Friday, very warm southerly winds, and that low pressure might spark off some thunderstorms into the weekend. And it's early next week, so quite thundery. The UK Met Office run is showing this sort of scenario here. And so showery Sunday next week. The Azores side goes to the east, low to the west, southerly flow, before a westerly move comes in, and probably brings showers and thunderstorms. The Icon runs like this. You can see, okay, so it's from Antoni, followed by showers, followed by some quiet weather before we get a southerly flow and westerly flow comes in to replace it, and very finally the arpege is showing this sort of situation. So showery Sunday, followed by the high pressure next week, and I say it'll turn hot there by Wednesday. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, and bye for now.